Porsche is really putting their muscle into the Indian market, and they are really trying to attract a lot of attention. And why shouldn't they? After all, they have a beautiful range of cars, and that's what they've dished out to us right here. We've got the entire Porsche family at our disposal to sample and see what it feels like to drive these beautiful machines, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I was smacking my lips at the thought of sampling this lineup. The car that I hopped into first was one that I had driven extensively earlier on. The kiddo of the Porsche family, the Boxster S. The Boxster really has an alluring combination. The open-air charm, it's proper sporting behavior now, and of course, the point being it's the most affordable of the Porsche sports cars. Although a 1 crore rupee price tag for this Boxster S with its options isn't exactly small change. But when you factor in the fun quotient of the Boxster S's crisp handling and raspy 315 bhp 3.4 litre direct injection motor, it all seems well worth it. Once I had had my fill of the Boxster, I stepped up to the next Porsche. Now the Cayenne in some ways is the black sheep of the family, you know. An SUV from Porsche, it drove people mad. But look at it today. It's one of the most sought after Porsches in the world. And in India, its appeal, I think it's just massive. The Cayenne alone accounts for 60% of Porsche's global sales, which makes it the rock star of the family now. An Audi-derived 3-litre V6 diesel engine has catapulted the Cayenne's appeal to a whole new level in India. Its 245 bhp of power and 56 kilograms of torque results in a Porsche claimed 0 to 100 time of 7.6 seconds. That's faster than the 300 horsepower 3.6 litre petrol Cayenne. Its 220 km/h top speed is also plenty enough for public roads. This V6 diesel motor really has a great smoothness to it, feels very comfortable cruising. Put your foot down a bit more and it just pulls along. The suspension also needs to be credited for the Cayenne's seemingly effortless cruising ability. Talking about a Porsche and ride quality seems a bit strange, but really it just feels so cushy. It makes so much sense for our roads. It's really easy to switch to a more driver-centric experience. You just need to make the suspension settings stiffer. Porsche's active suspension management then fine-tunes the ride and handling even further for every road and mood. A separate sport switch for the drivetrain makes the gearbox more determined and the engine a bit more explosive. But if you want even greater thrills, then watch out for the Cayenne Diesel S. Its gigantic 4.2 litre V8 diesel motor is going to be a bomb when it comes to India soon. The range-topping petrol variants, the 500 bhp turbo and the 550 bhp turbo S Cayennes are also on their way to India. But if you want something that's just a touch more traditional, then you should be looking this way. I think of the Porsche Panamera as the fat cat of the Porsche range. It has a certain kind of appeal for a certain type of person who wants a Porsche sports car, of course, but with 4 doors and 2 seats at the back, so I guess this is it. But it hasn't quite appealed to me because, well, it's not very pretty to look at, is it? There's no way of saying this elegantly. I think the Panamera looks like a bit of a cow. But I have been told that once you drive the Panamera, its looks will be the last thing on your mind. The diesel variant that I was driving shares its motor with the Cayenne, although it is punchier here. Its 0 to 100 time of 6.8 seconds is quicker, but it isn't electric. But the way the Panamera keeps on pulling is astounding. Its 242 km/h top speed is incredibly easy to reach. That's not bad at all for a near 2-ton saloon that can seat 4 people in complete luxury. It is definitely a very able cruiser. This GT is meant to cover long distances, and it does so with very little effort. I mean, the engine feels very relaxed, the suspension is pliant. When you make the suspension firmer, the Panamera's size and weight just seems to melt away. And it does feel very planted as expected. It just feels very, very grounded, and at the same time the ride is very comfortable. So in its diesel guise, the Panamera is a competent and relatively frugal all-rounder. But the adrenaline rush that a Porsche is meant to deliver is a bit lacking. Now there's none of that theater of sound here in the Panamera because this is the diesel version we're driving. I think to get really fascinated with the Panamera, I'm gonna have to drive one of the petrol sportier versions of the Panamera. Then it was time to come face to face with the Porsche that has built the legend of Porsche through its 7 generations and over the last 50 years, the 911. As a 911 newbie, I was soaking it all in hungrily. When I dropped into the cabin on the 911, the first thing that struck me was how low you're sitting, yet the dashboard doesn't obstruct the view. In fact, it's really low down, so the view out is really nice, and you immediately feel at ease inside this 400 bhp car and get down and start enjoying. For one thing, the theater of sound that I was looking for, the 911 definitely has it. I mean, it just feels like you've left a window open. The engine sound is just so apparent in the cabin, and that is a fabulous thing. The engineers at Porsche have managed to get the beautiful soundtrack into the cabin by running resonance tubes from the exhaust up the B pillar of the cabin. That's awesome! There are many more reasons to love the 911. Its 3.8-litre direct injection motor gives you 400 awesome reasons. And in Sport Plus, the gear shifts from the dual clutch gearbox are raw and exciting. You ought to feel the shift from first to second in Sport Plus. It's epic. The entire car kind of shunts. Yeah. Push the accelerator pedal hard and it will win you over. 0 to 100 is in 4.1 seconds. And it's the only car here that can make a determined dash to the 300 km mark. Actually, the 911 feels intense in every way. Now, even with the adjustable suspension and normal, this feels sports car stiff. Properly stiff. Even on the Yamuna Expressway, which in other cars just felt so smooth, here you can feel it bobbing around. Just tracking very true to the surface, you can see that. And then you also have the sport mode. I mean, the stiffer suspension is clearly stiffer. It's even more like, see, constant movement. Just see. Watch. It's like being in a train that's going over really bumpy rails. With Porsche's active suspension management, the Carrera S was also running a bigger front splitter, a ride height that had been lowered by 20mm, and it all made the car more driver-focused. It was begging to be driven on a racetrack. Really, it just feels so tight and connected. And this purpose-built, finely engineered and massively capable machine comes with a price tag to match. This costs 1.7 crores. And just for that soundtrack, if you have the money, go for it. Go for it. The drive experience, free. The fun of driving this, free. Just for the soundtrack, 1.7 crores. Porsche will strengthen their 911 range in India by bringing in the 911 Carrera 4 and 4S in February. The more potent turbo variants are likely to follow later in the year. Now the 911 is sure an icon, but there is one car in the Porsche range that does manage to give it some cause for concern, and that is the Cayenne, which has very recently been unveiled, the all-new Cayenne. Not here right now, but I'm sure it will be here soon, and then that should complete the Porsche lineup in India. A very exciting lineup at that.